It only took 3 days, but you're calling it what it's called, the negotiating window.
Open tampering window is open. And the Dallas Cowboys yesterday, Bobby, during the show, we had some news.
We did. We
had some news. We had Solomon Thomas in the middle of the show.
Which, decent player. Obvious connection there is with Aaron Whitecotton, his former defensive line coach with the Jets, and also with the 49ers. And then they made another signing. They got another former first-round pick. Boy, they're just signing all the former first-round pick offensive or defensive linemen.
I like it.
They get Payton Turner from the New Orleans Saints, who is a guy who had a lot of upside initially, but has dealt with injuries. It is improvement, you did add somebody, and so that's a positive. But Payton Turner's a guy who's dealt with some injuries. He was the 28th overall pick in the 2021 draft. He's a Texas kid. He's from Houston. But I mean, he's somebody who just last year for the first time played more than 8 games in a season. He played 5 in 2021, 8 in 2022, 2 in 2023, and then finally he played 16 last year. So we're talking about more than half of his career games came last year in his 4th season. A lot of upside. Big dude. Big time measurables. He's 6'6", 270. He's got this 84-inch wingspan. He's a massive dude. And the traits are there. It's just a matter of he has not been able to stay healthy to this point. But they're taking some low-risk gambles there. You're just saying, all right, for $3 million, this is what they do. $3 million, let's gamble. $3 million on Payton Turner for a year, $3 million on, Solomon Thomas for a couple years. This is what they're going to do.
The thing is as a gambler, I wouldn't call this even gambling. I would just call this buying a lottery ticket.
Sure.
You got about as good of a chance.
It's a form of gambling. It's a soft form of gambling. It is I'm not saying, I'm not saying it's anything of there's inherent risk really even.
It's not gambling.
It's not.
No, just like fantasy, it's not gambling.
No, you're playing the minimum tables. That's all you're doing.
That's not gambling. The people who calls the lotto gambling? Your wife. That's who calls the lotto gambling.
Not mine.
Not yours. But wives call the lotto gambling. It's not gambling. Gambling, there's an inherent skill and a way and a
skill.
There is and a way to win. There's an avenue to winning. A lottery ticket is a 1 in 3 billion or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, then fine. You're playing whatever you want to call it.
It's throwing money down the drain. That's what gamble. That's what lotto is.
Well,
that's what this is.
Until you win.
Now you need depth, but is this not what they did in the 90s? They just started signing backups.
No, they drafted backups. They reached a point where they were drafting backups, but no, this right here is they've gotten shut out on a couple different things that I think they were interested in. They got shut out on Dre Greenlaw. They thought they were going to be able to sign him. That was going to be a $10 million player. I'm not convinced they're out on Cooper Kupp. I think that Cooper Kupp is somebody that they could be in on.
They doubt that.
They missed out on Jordan Lewis. So they've had these places where they thought they were going to invest money, and it just hasn't happened yet.
When you say they missed out on Jordan Lewis, was that because they were never going to pay $10 million a year anyway? Were they?
No. But I don't think they anticipated. I think they thought they were going to get to a point to find a negotiating sweet spot with him, and they had no idea it was going to get up there. That surprised them. Which it shouldn't have, because how much when we talked Monday morning before everything opened, we had said that when we were talking about projections on where they could end up going, you had said how much is he going to get? And I said somebody on the open market will pay him $9 to $10 million.
Yeah, because
so they should know that.
They probably should have. But like saying they missed out on Jordan Lewis when they were never in the ballpark with him, it's kind of like saying the Rangers missed out on Anthony Rendon.
No, okay, but for instance,
it's like a fake contract.
What was A-Rod was up to $200 million when the Rangers bid against themselves and went to $250, right?
Right.
The Mariners had no idea that somebody was going to get to $250, so they thought, okay, well maybe we can negotiate here. And then when they see it gets up there, like, oh crap, we had no idea it was going
right
here. So they still had an intention of spending the money on him. They just didn't realize what it was going to get to.
So is this selectively aggressive?
No. Selectively aggressive still. I don't. You tell me what that means. You tell me.
I don't know. They're going to...
aggressive.
I still don't know.
Aggressiveness
but I still don't know
nature,
what all in means.
Aggressiveness by nature isn't picky.
It's not picky. You're right. Like they have gotten, 10 guys signed when you factor in their own players?
So they have signed up to this point, and yesterday we got a couple different things. They did get their punter done, Brian Anger.
Well,
which we talked about. We said they'd get the battery done, so that's done. Brian Anger, Trent Sieg, they're both back. They got Payton Turner, Solomon Thomas done, and then they re-signed KaVontae Turpin. Is that too much money for KaVontae Turpin for you?
$6 a year. Too much money? Depends how they use them.
And I think the guarantees that they said, it's really just one.
It's really just a 1 year deal?
Because it's like $6-7 million guaranteed.
So, I mean, DeAndre Hopkins just got 1 year, $6 million. David Montgomery is on a $6 million deal a year.
I think KaVontae Turpin's more valuable than DeAndre Hopkins right now. I don't think you're wrong, because I think he's washed.
You can use him in much more different ways, too.
KaVontae Turpin can impact the game more. Honestly, when we talked about this, how many times did we talk yesterday about just throw him a GD slant? Get KaVontae Turpin the ball in space.
I mean, they only did 4 of them, or whatever.
It's part of why your guys training Quinn Ewers now.
Yep. I mean, that's... Okay, he's not Debo, but I think you can use him like Debo. You can use him like Jamison Williams.
Yeah, you can use him like Jakeem Grant was used, or any sort of a player like that. He is a gadget player who can do a lot of different things.
End around guy.
And I don't mean gadget in a bad way.
Yeah, people take these weird terms and make them bad. Like gadget player's not a bad player. Like that's valuable.
No, yeah,
like Shohei, you could say is a gadget player. He can do multiple things. Yeah, it's a gadget.
It's just multiple purposes.
Yeah.
He doesn't have just this one thing that he's supposed to do. It's a little bit of jack of all trades, master of none, maybe. But I mean, he's a good player that you can use. KaVontae Turpin.
I've based my entire life around being a master of nothing.
Still $6 million.
Yeah, the $6 million is a lot. It's a lot. That's good salary. Is he worth 40% less than Jordan Lewis? Like is Jordan overpaid?
I don't think Jordan Lewis is overpaid when you look at the corner market. Corners in this stretch have been getting a ton of money, and he's coming off of a career year. But I mean, corners just have been getting snatched up and getting paid, on the lower side, $7 to $8 million, and then you've got guys who are way above that. Eric Stokes signed with the Raiders yesterday for $4 million. That is the lowest paid corner coming off the market by far.
Is there a position you felt that they've done the best at addressing this offseason? Or are we still way too early for that?
So, I mean, they're trying on the defensive line. They're trying with Aaron White-Cotton and Matt Eberflus to make sure. They re-signed Osa. They went ahead and got Payton Turner. They got Solomon Thomas. The problem is, John Owning said this yesterday from PFF. If this team is truly committed to wanting to get better at stopping the run, their moves so far have not shown that. They have not gone out and signed a linebacker, and the 2 defensive linemen they signed have not had a great track record of stopping the run.
Well, that would be a problem.
I mean, if that's an emphasis, it feels like it would be.
Yeah, I mean, how much money do you want to spend on it? Like if the running game is below the passing game from what the offenses do, then stopping the run would be below stopping the pass from what the defenses do. You would think that's how it would work, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, maybe they bring back Kendricks.
I can see that
on the second level.
I wouldn't hate that.
They have. I didn't anticipate they would heading into this offseason, but maybe they get there and they just say, "This is what is." Again,
it's just a necessity thing.
Linebackers have been costing a lot of money. Greenlaw went for 12. Ernest Jones went for 11. Jamian Sherwood went for 15. Robert Spillane went for 12. So, I mean, you're talking about this has ended up costing people, again, more than they probably thought. Even Divine Diablo, who's kind of a tweener guy, he went for $7 million a year with the Falcons.
Can you see them drafting that in the first round?
No.
They love to.
No, I don't think they'd pick a linebacker in the first round.
That'd be like what, 4 in the first round, and
yeah, I mean they've shown a willingness.
They've
shown a willingness to pick linebackers high, but no, I think that the direction that they would go with linebacker would be they'd like to probably just find some veterans to mix and match. Now, like one of the names I wonder about, but again, you don't know how much he's going to cost. EJ Speed from Tarleton State University, actually, but a guy who
what a name.
Yep, and he's EJ Speed the 4th.
Oh yeah.
So
who do you think the fastest was of the 4?
I would imagine EJ since he got in the NFL.
Yeah.
And I mean, just advancements in technology and genetics and different things like that. No, I look at it and I just say that you try to find connections. Like what did we already find with Solomon Thomas? Okay, there's a connection there that makes sense. EJ Speed, a guy that was drafted by the Colts in 2019. So spent 2-3 years with Matt Eberflus there on the Colts defense. And a guy who really broke out for the Colts last year. But again, also a guy that did he break out to the point that he's going to get paid more than the Cowboys are comfortable with? And especially when you consider the agent, is who we talked about yesterday, David Mulugeta, is going to try and get him every single last penny that a team will pay him. And so is Dallas going to be competitive enough to do that? I don't know. But they've got to start finding some stuff on the other side of the ball in terms of run defense, and they've got to figure out who this extra receiver is.
Well, look, if my math is correct, and it probably isn't, but it looks like the Cowboys have doled out $52 million on the players this year in the offseason. Now, that's without Brian Angers. I don't have his numbers.
And that's just on the outside free agents or everybody?
That's everybody. That's including Osa. It's including Sieg and Bell.
I mean, if you even look at what they guaranteed, it's probably not even.
Oh, no. This is just their average.
Yeah, but if you just look at, again, outside free agents this year, total values of their contracts.
So 2 for 8, 1 for 4.75, and then 2 that were 1 for 3.
The Cowboys have essentially given out $18.5 million.
Hey! That's almost 20
in total contract value.
Hell yeah, man!
But look, here's the problem.
You ain't gonna bring me off this high.
There's upside to a player like Javonte Williams. There's upside to a player like Payton Turner. There's upside to a player like Robert Jones. The problem is they're not all going to hit. In fact, you're going to be lucky if one of them hits or 2 of them hit or whatever else. It can definitely happen because they have upside. But to bank on this is our whole offseason, we're going to invest in these wild cards and hope they all hit. It's like, okay, well, that's definitely not going to happen.
Yeah.
One of them might. One of these guys, Payton Turner, there's a shot Payton Turner looks like a massive value buy by the end of the year like Carl Lawson did. Or that Javonte Williams looks like a massive value buy. But they're not all going to look like one.
I just love that, this offseason, they have stuck to what they said. They said they were all in last year. That turned out to be not true. This year, selectively aggressive, man.
Jason on the YouTube says Payton Turner went to the same high school as his mom. His mom was a great basketball player. His aunt Cassie Bauer, 6'4", was even better. She played in the WNBA. So I actually do this because I talked to Payton Turner a lot. In fact, we should probably try to get Payton on.
Yeah.
I talked to Payton Turner a lot when he was training for the draft, and he talked about how his parents were both huge. So I mean, he was always meant to be this dude, but he had big time athletic family. I think he said he was like an 11-pound baby or something like that. He was giant.
Big kid.
So, yeah. Big kid.
Big kid.
And he is when you talk about culture and right attitude and stuff like that, he's going to be a big one for them. If he can click into place and stay healthy, Payton Turner will be a good signing. That's probably their highest upside signing they made this week.